What's up, YouTube? You guys have tuned in to COVID All the Time, the YouTube channel where all we talk about all the time is COVID, coronavirus, coronavirus news. We check out Reddit posts and kind of see what people's sentiment is. And today we're looking at a post titled Colleges in the Fall. And this one is from a Reddit user by the name of Picking Up Heavy Stuff. And if he really is picking up heavy stuff, that should prevent him from dying of the coronavirus, since working out and exercising and staying physically fit is great for your overall health and should keep you relatively safe during these COVID times. I have a feeling this post is going to be a lot of doom and gloom, but just to provide some context, according to the CDC, between February 1st and June 17th, so essentially since COVID started until just about 2 weeks ago, the number of COVID deaths among 15 to 24-year-olds, which I think pretty much encompasses all college students, 125 deaths. We hear about 150,000 deaths. 125 of them were from people the age of college students, and that makes up 0.121% of all COVID deaths. So just to put this all into perspective, very, very rare for college students to die of coronavirus. Much more likely to die from alcohol poisoning, a car accident, a lot of other things than coronavirus. And, if you're going to make an argument that the coronavirus is really dangerous and we should be really careful, the argument to make is maybe older faculty might get sick. Maybe college students who live at home with their families will bring the coronavirus back to their families. But the reality is that college students are highly unlikely to die of the coronavirus. Soul Contusion says compulsory education will not be open for in-person instruction. Colleges and universities will adopt a mostly online model. In-person classes will be slowly ended as people test positive, and they'll have to move them online anyways. Well, that's actually not the case. We are actually seeing a lot of colleges are going back to school, and I think most people would agree that part of the reason people go to college is for the college experience, right? To live on campus, to get away from home, to live with, a diverse set of people, just kind of expand your horizon. And that's a big part of college, as is doing things like, being part of the school newspaper, being part of the school's radio station, internships, study abroad. There's a lot more to college than just learning the material and what you can do online. And I think this is going to be kind of interesting. Like, what are college towns going to look like in the future? What are colleges going to look like in the future? I'm sure as hell not going to pay $25,000 a year to go to the University of Illinois if it's going to be completely online and I'm going to be back in my hometown. Like, I'll go to the cheapest state school there is, or even better, I'll go to a community college. Just makes very, very little sense to pay big money to go to a big fancy school when you're not able to take advantage of any of what that school has to offer. And another interesting thing with college towns typically being not all the time, right? You have college towns in big cities like Chicago, but in college towns, a lot of college towns, the entire town's economy is based around the school. The school is the major employer. Oftentimes these are small towns downstate without a whole lot going on, but besides the university. So landlords who have rental property in college towns, like they're going to get hit really hard. A lot of the businesses that rely on college students are going to get hit really hard. I'm not saying we should all rush back to college, but I just think it's interesting. What will the future of college towns and universities be in the future moving forward? Odin in AZ says my uni. NAU Northern Arizona was saying all summer that they would be opening for in-person classes on the start of the semester. Well, they were saying that they were also setting up a bunch of cameras and tablets, etc., in every classroom, a system they're calling NAU Flex. It's to allow for live synchronous streaming of classes, like a camera to see the professor at the podium, a camera to see the whiteboard, and then it's all tied together so the professor can share their laptop and whichever camera view they choose. Up until last week, NAU's president explained that the FAU Flex technology was just to allow those who wanted to join the class remotely the option to do so, but classes would be in person for everybody else, and the dorms and dining halls were open for business. So everyone pay your deposits and sign your leases. Well, I saw through all that bullshit the whole time, LMAO. I told my wife they're only saying classes will be held in person to get all that dorm parking, dining money. But then a week into classes, they'll move it all online. Just look, they're even equipping every single classroom with these kits, so they're ready to make the switch. Well, they announced last week that all classes will be NAU Flex remotely until August 31st. I mean, that's really not that long. What college starts normally mid-August, so it's about 2 weeks. Uh, Bull fucking shit. When August 31st comes around, they're just going to announce they're staying remote for the rest of the semester. You know, it'll be interesting to see. I know a lot of the, I have some teachers or some family members who are teachers, and it's like week to week, they're going back, they're not going back. It's going to be flex. They're going back, they're not going back. It's going to be flex. I think flex or a hybrid model in terms of like, 2 days in the classroom, 2 days out of the classroom, I think is one of the dumbest ways to go about things. I'm not a big fan of coronavirus lockdowns. I think we should all go back to work, go back to school, go back to our lives. However, either be all in or be all out. Sending kids to school 2 days a week, 3 days a week, they're getting all the exposure to the coronavirus with really none of the benefits of being back in the classroom. Either go all one way or all the other way. Let's see. I go to Rutgers University in New Jersey, and all of my fall classes are online. There's only some majors like nursing, etc., that are approved to go back on campus. I have friends going back for whatever reason, but there's no doubt that it just won't work and they'll close down eventually. These kids that haven't socialized in forever, they're going to leave campus, party a lot, and go to a lot of places. People can't even prevent a damn junior high infection, but expect a college with 20,000 plus people to work out. Let's see. My university promised since May that we would all be back on campus, but now almost all classes are online. They waited to do the switch after they secured money for housing and people were locked into leases. This happened over the weekend. All my classes are now online. The only people attending classes on campus will be freshmen, limited amount of people in classes to preserve the college experience, grad and professional students. They basically said, screw the sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Tuition is the same as 2019-2020 academic year. They won't reduce it because we have accredited programs online before the pandemic that offered excellent education. I knew we weren't going to be in person, but they kept emailing us every week about the safety precautions and how we would be reunited in the fall. BS. Every student just needs to be prepared now. If they aren't already, their college, like many others, have already will pull a last minute switch. And then this is kind of shady on the universities if they did know all along that they weren't going to go back. I think it's safe to say that the COVID situation right now is a lot better than it was in May. I know we hear things are, oh, it's spiking, but if you look at New York spike compared to what we're calling the Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida spikes, these quote unquote spikes are pretty much insignificant. If you thought it was safe to go back in May, it's most definitely safe to go back now. But they're going to go cautious, and like people said, I'm sure they want to get the money. Seeing colleges down south of Virginia are opening back up to essentially normalcy with some online classes. So, if you are a college student, drop a comment down below. Let us know what your college is looking like. And for the rest of you, do you think that schools knew all along they weren't going to go back and we're just doing this to rake in money, or do you think they're just kind of playing it by ear and being extra cautious? Let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.